All right. Hello, everybody. All right. I think that's it. We're good to go. All right. So here is the beginning of our 2021 wrap party, virtual hangout, and live Q&A. I hope that you're seeing this right now. It says that I'm live. Alec, we live back there?
We're live.
Okay, excellent. I got my producer, Alec, back there. He's going to make sure that everything goes smoothly this time around. All right, we already got comments flying in. Super excited to see that. So yeah, you read it. This is it. We're just hanging out. We're just going to do this for an hour or so, and you can ask me questions about gear that came out this past year. And so there's one caveat for that too. It doesn't necessarily have to be gear that, like, on paper release date came out in 2020. Like it can, or 2021 rather. It can be a 2020 camera. For example, there are a couple of cameras like that we're going to talk about today that were technically released in like 2020, but they got the majority of their exposure in 2021. So I'm kind of just clumping them into a to this 2021 discussion. So anyways, yeah, I think we can talk about cameras, audio, lighting, cameras, lenses, audio, lighting, maybe in that order, maybe not. We can just totally just free flow it if you want. So yeah, basically here we're gonna start. I want to talk about the #1 greatest camera I got my hands on this year though. This was a little Lego camera I got from, I could use a switch here, Alec. This is a little Lego camera.
Working out the kinks here, man.
Yeah, oh yeah, working out the kinks. Are there kinks?
No, we're good.
Okay, we're good. Yeah, anyways, this is just this tiny little Lego camera that my girlfriend's mom got for me because she knows that I am 5 at heart. Its actual film gate opens up here, which is really, really awesome. And then you can even take the lens off too. So anyways, I'm hoping to get a new lens for this. I haven't exactly figured out what mount is compatible with this. So if anyone in the comment section wants to reach out and let me know actually what mount camera I'm using right here, I have no idea. Honestly, it's a little cheap and plasticky kind of feel. So, okay, cool. So first question, what came out this year gear-wise? So I actually posted a poll in the comments about, like, I'm gonna go ahead and end that right now, about which brand had the better year. And I really just did Red, Sony, and Fuji because they had the most releases. A lot of other manufacturers just had one camera release this year. So these were 3 brands that had 2 large cameras this year. So Red being the Komodo, which again was a 2020 camera that I'm considering in the discussion of 2021 cameras because nobody actually got to shoot on it in 2020, like, at all. It was just super back ordered or whatever. So anyways, that was the Komodo and the V Raptor coming in from Red. Now Sony had a couple of bangers this year, honestly. Sony A1 and Sony A7R4. So probably the best photo video hybrid camera you could have asked for to come out earlier this year. Sony A7R4. You'd be hard pressed to be disappointed with this thing if you had either one of those needs. And then also the absolutely incredible Sony A1, 8K internal, just a beast. And I actually did an 8K shootout with this camera versus the EOS R5 earlier in the year, which was a fun one. So anyways, that's what's coming in from Sony. It looks like that won the poll. So yeah, other really cool stuff coming in from Sony too this year. This is probably, like, if somebody were to ask me, like, what was my favorite piece of gear, this might oddly be the one because I absolutely love these Cine servo lenses. These Sony servo lenses before, they were just the F4 ones that I used on, like, the FS5 or the FX7. So this is that Cine version, 16-35T 3.1 with the zoom motor right here, perfectly built in. A little bit of a chunker, as you can tell. I did end up, like, kind of hand holding this lens while I was shooting the video for it, but which got kind of strange. But this thing, amazing, amazing wide angle Cine zoom for Sony cameras. So probably one of my favorites right there, easily. I don't know. What do you think about this thing? Kind of a chunker, right?
It's cool.
It's like, come on, like, what is this thing? How are the comments looking?
Flying, baby.
Oh, we're flying. Okay. I could read some. Man, I need to just cool off here.
Yeah.
All right.
How we doing tonight?
Woo! Hello, Wisconsin. Yeah, okay. Nice. Love that lens. All right,
Yes.
cool. How about audio? There were actually two really big releases, like audio-wise, this year, and it's not quite as exciting as camera and lens business, I know, but I know the audiophiles out there are really excited about this one right here. Rode Wireless Go 2. Now, the biggest thing here with this one was the dual transmitter support from one receiver right here, which is basically what everybody wanted from their original Rode Go kit, which is an absolutely amazing wireless lav kit, but I just have a feeling that everybody was just getting two of them because they just wanted to lav up two people at once. So Rode pretty much took their best lav kit, well, basically their only lav kit, and updated it with an amazing feature right there. So right out of the box, two transmitters for this one receiver. So just immediately, this has all the support to take these. You can jam them onto two audio channels. You can keep them separate if you want. So that was absolutely huge. I know when they released this, there were a lot of people out there that said, yes, thank you. I'll be selling my original now and getting the two. This thing right here changed the game. This changed the audio game like it did change the game, 100%. No, seriously, I've talked to like two sound recorders slash audio engineer, technician people on real sets this year that said that this Tentacle Sync E was an absolute lifesaver for them. Basically, what this is going to do for every one of these units, you're going to be able to take the either make you can generate its own time code and sync that up with any other device that also has one of these on set, and then afterwards you take all of the media from all of the devices that had a Tentacle C hooked up to it, and then you can run it in its own program, and it will sync all that media to the frame via its own generated time code, or it can take the time code from any one of those devices and basically sync all that media up to that one selected time code. That is something that either I don't know honestly much about the audio world, but I heard from at least a couple of people that the alternative process for doing this was quite horrible.
9 out of 10 video production people would recommend?
Not 10 out of 10. 10 out of 10 audio people would recommend this. Like, I think you'd be hard pressed to find somebody that doesn't agree that this thing changed the game. Like any device, basically the sort of headliner for this thing, time synced or synced media via time code. It can either generate it itself or take it from any device. So amazing. Yeah, Tentacle Sync. Those are just two guys from Germany that just whipped up this project.
Two Germany guys?
Two Germany guys, I know. It's like, no, I was going to make a joke about how nothing good in the camera industry comes from Germany when really it's like all amazing stuff comes from Germany. Zeiss, Arri, like everything. So, what else? Okay, let's talk about a lens.
Before we talk about a lens, some commenters are saying that better not be coffee, or better not be just coffee in that mug. But do we let the people know what we have planned for later? There
is a surprise. So I'll let the chat know that this is only water just in this mug. It's not even coffee. It's literally just water. I just poured it in here for show, just to be a showy person. But there is a surprise for later that is going to be a very quintessential way to wrap up the new year. So you got to stick around to the end to figure out that, though. So for whoever that commenter is, there's your answer. Tony. So there you go, Tony. So, okay, cool. Let's talk about this thing. DZO Film full frame Cine glass. Now this is a 35 millimeter. I believe there's also a couple of other lenses in this set. This is pretty amazing. Full frame illumination from this Cine lens in this very, very small package. So this is going to illuminate cameras with those full frame sensors, ideally like a C500 Mark III, the latest T300. No, I don't know if that's full frame camera, but anyways, yeah, your red VistaVision sensors too for this thing, and it really looks incredible. It's basically like your favorite piece of photo glass, like your favorite old photo prime, but just like rehoused in a Cine body, which is probably actually not that far off of what it is. But man, this thing is sharp from edge to edge, nice and fast, 2.1 T-stop there. Yeah, VistaVision format. Yeah, this is one for the books right here. DZO. I'm like over here.
Good job, DZO. Shout out. Where are they from? Do you know?
DZO Film from China.
China.
Yeah, Chinese company. Absolutely amazing stuff here.
This year, China. We can talk about that later in the show, but how they've just completely taken over.
Huge year for China. That's Laowa, Suray, DZO. I'm pretty sure those are all China. Aperture is. DJI just acquired Hasselblad this year. That's something I didn't even. There's big, photo world news
so much to talk about
that not a lot of people know. DJI acquired Hasselblad, I think either in 2020 or earlier this year.
Can we get a fact check on that one?
Yeah, we need a fact check on that. But and I assume that's why you're seeing those Hasselblad cameras on those DJI Mavic drones. So if you were wondering where that collaboration came from, you're like, a Hasselblad on a drone? Like what? But yeah, oddly enough, I'm almost certain that DJI actually acquired Hasselblad, either this past year or whatever. So anyways, seriously good point though. Amazing stuff coming out of China this year. I mean, 4 Chinese brands that are absolutely slaying it this year. Suray, making those extremely niche, just impossible optics lenses, like we all know about the, oh, sorry, I was actually going to say the Probe, but that's Venus Lau. So anyways, Suray with those incredible no distortion wide-angle lenses, like 15 millimeter for full-frame Sony and everything, with no barrel distortion, that's amazing. Venus Laowa with the Probe, and they're also making some really, really hard-to-achieve optics, but delivering them at an amazing price. So huge stuff coming out of Suray there. Aperture, I'm almost certain that Chinese brands, yeah. What?
I think Aperture's American.
Oh, they are. Okay, so anyways, well, we can transition off China and start talking about Aperture, because, wow, this brand over the past years, maybe not even just in 2020, but the Aperture 300D completely changed the continuous video lighting scenario. I mean, people were just buying those and dropping their old lighting kits like a bad habit. And then this year we got the 600D, which basically, with just one modification there, that Fresnel modification, you're rivaling sunlight, and you're rivaling a small HMI from Arri, like a 1.2K or something like that. And double these up, get 2 of these, and you're rivaling the sun. You're rivaling sunlight intensity right there without any modification. It's amazing. And you could run 2 of these lights off the same circuit amperage, electronics, not really my thing. You could run 2 of these lights off the same blah that you could a regular small HMI without tripping the circuit. So just LED style Fresnels. I mean, I think that's one thing in 2021 that just we can take away is just completely changing the game. I mean, to have a lighting fixture option that gets basically just as bright, runs way cooler, takes way less energy on the input scenario, just lighter, physically lighter. I think a lot of us have seen those behind the scenes shots of 4 guys using these pipes, it's ancient Egypt or something, carrying one of these humongous HMIs, that might have been for Dune or something, or in those desert projects where it literally takes the gasket carrying oh god, that was just one of my gels.
We're strapping it together.
Oh my goodness.
At the end of the year,
This,
they're falling apart.
The 600D is actually so powerful, it just blasted that gel right off the face right there. It was completely, yeah. So, man, gosh, is there anything like glaringly obvious I'm missing from 2021? What happened in the industry? Well,
let's talk about like where did we see the industry go this year?
Yeah, okay.
Let's start where the industry went and how that percolated into the best releases.
Okay, yeah, sure. There's one objective answer to that I'll be very concise and clear about. No, not really at all. It was just what happened this year. We're in our second year going in a global worldwide pandemic. Like, I feel like I just have to mention that. You can't talk about what happens this year and the state of things this year without just mentioning that we're in this sort of weird, drawn out, like almost feels like purgatory, like blah sort of period where we're just, transitioning out of like straight up locking down from COVID, but also meandering into sort of, okay, how can we get a shoot done where all the stuff is closed down and we're all like used to working remote and stuff like that. So I think this year we saw a big uptick in virtual productions and live streams. Hello. Because, yeah, people's things got canceled in 2020, and then instead of rescheduling them, a lot of people just realized we can actually just turn this into a live show, or we can do this remotely and have people hop onto YouTube or Twitch or Vimeo or Facebook or any streaming platform and just do this show that we were going to do live, just virtually. And then then you get your Blackmagic switchers, which is actually, we're running this whole show off one of the A10 mini switchers, just a really like consumer like version of them.
We got the live switch going on here.
Oh yeah, woo 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 woo. I can't necessarily see those switches, but I bet they were awesome. So yeah, and probably in direct response to that, you get Blackmagic releasing these A10 switchers. They know people are just going to be doing these at home. Oh, I can see the switching going on there. It's a little delayed. So yeah, that's awesome. And then they started out with this lower needs model, and then they just rolled up a couple more, the Extreme and the 4K Extreme. I just did a video on that 4K switcher the other day, which was awesome. And these are all products that before, like the alternatives to do what these products are allowing you to do, $5, $6, up to $10,000 to get these 4K compatible switchers. Blackmagic's coming around and saying, hey, listen, all that stuff, pretty easy to do, $1,200, $2,000. That mini is like a $600 switcher. So to answer your question, yeah, that's like something that it was in direct response to the past like couple of years. Just one company just said, hey, like things are less in real life now. Let's help people like tell their stories virtually, or like just like do their show virtually.
Webcam type deal with all the
oh my god, yeah.
The mirrorless cameras. It feels like now since every model, like you look at, I don't know, it didn't come out this year, but the S10, like the Fuji S10, like even all the Canon, like the RP, like you can basically just put that straight into your computer and run like a high quality webcam. You know?
Right. Almost every single manufacturer, like last year in response to the pandemic, like rolled out their own webcam software for you to use their camera as your computer's webcam, which there were only really probably like one or two roadblocks in the way, like a $20 capture card or maybe some sort of software thing. But again, in response to the pandemic, we saw every single one of those manufacturers just whip up a little streaming software to get your own camera sort of going there. So yeah, that was really, really cool. Let's play with some gimbals and stuff. All right. So again, I kind of went on the spiel before, but the Komodo actually was a 2020 release, although I feel like it got most of its exposure in 2021 because this was just a really hard to just a hard camera to get your hands on, even if you were renting it or buying it. So I am lumping this into the 2021 discussion because I think most of us got the chance to use this in 2021. And next week you are going to see the video that I'm working on, which is actually which is the better gimbal camera, FX6 versus Red Komodo. But that's why I have both of these on a gimbal right now. And I've got to say, this is probably one of my favorite releases of 2021. I mean, you just get that Red workflow and just this itsy bitsy bite-sized package. It is a little bit of a dumbed down like Red workflow. You don't have all those levels of compression. You really only just get 3, low, medium, and high. And then it's going to take that CFast 2.0. And yeah, just like, oh man, it's just so great. Maybe you could switch right there. Oh yeah, that's the angle. That's it. Sure. Yep, nice and low to the ground there. So yeah, and then with this, just a couple months ago came the release of the V Raptor, which essentially just like shorthand, a way that you can think about the V Raptor is just double every single thing that the Komodo is going to be able to do, frame rate and resolution wise. So this does 4K 60. That's going to be able to do 4K 120. This is going to do 4K 60. That's going to be able to do 8K 60. So like, don't double the resolution and the frame rate, either or type thing. Maybe the next DSMC3 body will be double resolution and frame rate of all this stuff. But anyways, and I'm sure there's a lot of other stuff kind of going on with that too, recording mode wise. One thing they did with this was make it really, really wirelessly and remote active. I think really quickly, I think I gotta like set it up to the Wi-Fi. But just the other day, I got this hooked up to the Red Control app, and it was such a dream. Like, it was really, really great. It's all the camera controls tethered to your phone. You can't monitor it from there because that's like a little bit of a, that's kind of like a, it's a lot to ask of just a mobile app. So it would be really nice though, because probably my one main complaint of the Komodo is just that tiny, tiny little postage stamp of a screen right there. But you're probably gonna get an external monitor like going off of it anyway. So I just have this Shinobi 2 from Atomos just to give me a little 5-inch operator's monitor right there. And so, oh yeah. I was just messing with the autofocus on this thing the other day, which I thought was a totally lost cause. Like, I thought like this was just, I put it on just once for like 30 seconds, and I just completely determined that it was not worth it at all. But I've got the beta autofocus on right now, and honestly, if you are doing something not so intensive, you just click the top right there and it actually tracks. It's like a little bit jittery, and this is only beta autofocus, so I wish you could have my live like stream from this camera right now. Maybe next year. And then also next year, I want to be able to take my phone and just like fly through the office and then just be like, "What's up, everybody?"
Maybe in the metaverse.
It's the new year. Maybe in the metaverse. Man, so that happened in 2021. Maybe we're just gonna drop real life productions just entirely, and we're all just gonna do productions in Mark Zuckerberg's metaverse. Yeah, and just yeah, exactly. I know. So coming after my job.
Well, the point of autofocus though, that the V Raptor from the early tests, the autofocus looks pretty nice.
Really?
On that one, so we'll see. Probably because it's going off of more pixels on the sensor, because it's a full VistaVision size sensor versus Super 35. But
yeah, I would say so too. And do you think, I mean, they've got everything covered like in-house there. Do you think they're working with Canon? I mean, they're clearly working with Canon with their mount and the RF, like pretty hand in hand there. And then a very easy conversation to have right after that is, how compatible can we make our sensor with your autofocus, or just a completely different sensor build? So you're kind of just talking about.
I think it's a little bit of reverse engineering action. Obviously, Canon, it's in their best interest to keep things under wraps for the best performance, but I'm sure that they they figured out enough to get autofocus working to a certain degree. So.
I mean, imagine the Komodo with the C70's autofocus.
Yeah.
Like, come on. But anyways, obviously the C70 and the Komodo have greatly different sensor builds. Moving on, I'm also lumping this one into the 2021 category because even if the FX6 was released in 2020, this was like the most sought after camera to either rent or buy. Like, this is literally my first time seeing it in only like a week ago. This was so heavily rented and just so impossible to buy. If you did manage to buy one, you got to understand how lucky you were if this thing was you actually got this shipped and it wasn't late or anything, because I know a ton of professionals out there who were just waiting and waiting and waiting. Probably just ended up canceling their order and maybe getting 2 FX3s or saving up enough to get an FX9 or whatever. So this is the middle child of that Sony FX line that's out so far. I don't know if they're gonna do any more 369. Damn, you fine?
I didn't say that.
I won't compete it. Little John there, 2004, for any of you. A little reference to the East Side boys or what's up. All right, anyways, FX6 on my favorite gimbal, the RS2. I am safely not lumping this into the 2021 conversation though, because this was a 2020 gimbal pretty fairly, but it's also like my favorite thing ever. So get a good look at, oh wait, here's one thing. I wanted to mention this to you too. Easily the quickest startup time of any Cine camera I've ever encountered. Can you see that?
Here?
No, actually, maybe just do the full screen. Look at the screen for the startup time.
Wow.
Bam. Any single, not even Sony either, like any Cine camera is gonna be like a couple of seconds to turn on. And that can be super annoying on set when the very last thing that you're relying on is whatever, battery change, accessory swap, the camera to get back up. There are certain cameras, I can't even really think of by name, but just like, all right. Or like your Teradek or something like that. Like, I really wish Teradek would do something about that, where like the startup is just like so long in and of itself. But anyways, first note about the FX6, literally the startup time, the quickest like I've ever seen. I don't know how they fixed that or if that's a hard thing to do, but it's just like bam. So anyways, look at this. No external monitor on the FX6, literally just using its own top monitor to, yeah, you got that? And that has full clearance. That literally has full tilt clearance with that up there.
I think we should talk about just the capabilities of this setup right here. Look at it, you know, in 2020 when we just had at least early 2020, we just had the FX9.
Yeah.
You know? And look at what Sony did. I mean, this camera has already surpassed all of its kind of expectations, because just to kind of give a little history rundown here, it kind of was split between the FS5 and the FS7.
Right.
And people loved the image out of the FS7, but the size was the drawback, and so it kind of pushed people down into the FS5. But then the FS5 had a little bit of a limiting, you know, when it came to codecs and when it came to actual image quality, it just had that step down. But I feel like now with this FX6, you have such a small package, yet so much image power, you know?
It really is the just right. It's like the Goldilocks, like just right. The FX3 was awesome, but I was kind of, when that came out, I'm like, why wouldn't you just get an A7S III? It can also take photos and do practically everything an FX, yeah, the A7S III can, and the FX3, and you're right, the FX9, like that's a perfectly compatible camera, perfectly, you know, adequate for everything that you want it to do, but it's a little bulky. And I know that's what people said about the FS7. They're like, geez, like, I don't want to just shoot 1080, like really, really great looking 1080 on that like beast of a camera, when simultaneously Sony was also doing their Alpha line, which was shooting 4K full frame in a tiny, tiny body. And then you looked at the FS7 and you're like, why is this 4 times as much and does less? So basically bit rates and like shooting raw and all that sort of stuff. So anyways, yeah, look at this gimbal scenario right here. No external monitor if I need to. I know probably a lot of people would probably prefer to shoot with a monitor right here, but if this is just like a quick shoot, just grab and go out of the box, get the top monitor right there. Rob, come on in. We're doing a live. I don't know why our co-workers can't come in and drop by. Hey, what's going on?
Hey guys. Say hi to the audience.
Yeah. I don't know. It's kind of a tight squeeze back here, but yeah.
We'll squeeze.
Yeah. Come on in, Rob. How was How was 2021? Woo! Now that's good. Yeah, there you go. Look at that one. That's on a 30-second delay.
Oh, there we go.
Here he is. Rob,
Hey guys.
talk about some of your favorite
Okay,
photo
I got
stuff
the
this year.
nice little tantalizing question for you, Rob.
Yeah.
What was your favorite piece of equipment for 2021?
Honestly, it was the one system that actually changed what I do professionally. So I'm a commercial photographer. So for a long time, I've been working with two systems actually. The 5D Mark IV, predominantly for location work, and then the Fuji GFX50S in studio. So using it for product photography, things like that. And I recently got rid of all of my equipment and went over to the R5 with the combination sort of the megapixel count, the flexibility and versatility of the system. It just made a lot of sense. While I miss certain aspects of the Fuji in studio, I think the R5 with resolution and adaptability, because it's a very flexible system.
How many questions about the R5 / switching to mirrorless do you get up there? I feel like every time I'm here, I hear one of our rental customers asking, "Is it time? Like, what about these new mirrorless cameras?" And then that's practically what I hear
for
you
sure.
say.
I mean, obviously, it's been the debate for a while. This is kind of, in terms of shift in what we do professionally. Aside from coming from film to digital, really switching from digital SLR to mirrorless has been, kind of the singular biggest change that we've seen in the last decade or so.
Here's an R6 to have a little prop to talk about. Not
Right,
the
yeah.
R5, but the R6. Like
Yeah,
in and of
no,
itself.
but it really is a great system, and obviously Sony really set the bar high when it came to mirrorless production, and I think Canon and Nikon both made up a lot of ground this last year. Sony's still, I think, probably leading that side of the industry a little bit in terms of making revolutionary design and autofocus systems and things like that. But Canon has certainly closed that gap massively in this last year. Same with Nikon, the flexibility of the system, the autofocus, image resolution. It's just a fantastic. It really is a fantastic system.
So it's not going to be this year, clearly, but it's going to be next year. That's the year of the mirrorless flagships. So that's going to be Canon's R3 and Nikon's Z9.
Yeah.
Are you having any thoughts about Canons, or at least curious about those specs from the Z9? Because they look incredible.
The Z9 looks, certainly like a game changer in terms of its functionality. The same really on the R3 side of things. I think the R3 looks like a really promising camera, especially for things like sports photography and things like that. These cameras are doing things that we couldn't have dreamt about 10 years ago.
Oh my goodness.
So we're really, I think one of the things that I talk to a lot of our customers about is that we really are spoiled in terms of our ability to accomplish what we want professionally.
Oh, hugely.
These cameras are so advanced now, and they provide us with an endless array of tools, both in the field and in studio. These cameras move from environment to environment flawlessly. There really are no more excuses.
No, we have a take in here in the comments that says the R3 will be the 2022 camera of the year, and that's
That's a bold statement.
It sounds true, like in and of itself. Though we don't know what's gonna happen.
I mean, as a guy who really loves and respects what Canon has done for a long time, I shot on Nikon for 20 years, went over to Canon. Love what Sony has done and has really set the bar in terms of mirrorless cameras. The R3 looks like an amazing system. I will say I'm very intrigued by what I see with the Z9.
Yeah, oh, yeah.
Very intrigued. Look, the fact is that you can compare Nikon, Canon, and Sony all you want. The fact is that all of these cameras are highly capable systems. It really comes down to your comfort level, what you do professionally, and how those cameras fall into your specific needs and wants. Right now, these cameras will do whatever you want them to do.
Right.
You just have to make the decision on which one feels best in your hand.
Right, exactly. Like I know, for example, for the Winter Olympics or the what was it that they used all the A1s for? The production Sony A1s for? What Olympic was that?
Olympics? They've been doing them in the NFL.
Oh, the NFL.
Yep.
Well, anyways, that is a high demand piece of job where they say, okay, we need our shooters to be able to do this, and then also at the drop of a dime do this and deliver this size of pictures at this time every day and blah blah blah. And so if whether that is a Canon or a Nikon or a Sony giving you that power or limitation, then there's gonna be your
having
decision
done work in the NFL on the sidelines and knowing the speed at which those images need to be turned over. All of these cameras, the A9 system, Canon's Nikon system, all of these camera systems now have the ability to shoot very, very quickly, capture every frame throughout a series of plays, submit those images, turn them around very quickly and into the hands of the public before we're at halftime. So it's an amazing technology that's in these now.
Goodness. I remember you were probably around in the stadium when the video guys were sending tapes up to the tape guys, and they're just like, "Oh, the tape jams are really going."
You're really dating me.
Yeah, well, you said you were shooting Nikon for 20 years. Yeah, no, I am jealous of those times. Honestly, that's where that comes from. I wish I was around.
There's times I miss analog for sure, but it's I think like most photographers will tell you now, the ability to quickly turn projects and live view capabilities and things like that has just revolutionized our industry, and we've been forced to change along with it, and I think for the better.
Hugely. This is a camera brand that came out of left field this year. Absolutely, be careful with it. It's a little bit of a plasticky build. It's a startup. It was an Indiegogo, so
that's clever.
They haven't exactly had the crowdfunding to source those best materials yet, but it's really amazing.
Yeah, a little delicate.
It doesn't exactly, I haven't really found out how to take a picture on it, but I'm just sort of going to be, also it's kind of hard to see
dark in the viewfinder
there, but also, what you can do is open up your film gate here. Let's get some
clever.
action on the film gate. And then if you wanted to, you can just maybe get another lens
That
on
had to
there
be
too.
a Christmas.
Yeah, it was a Christmas gift. It was a Christmas gift. My girlfriend's mom knows that I'm 5 years old at heart. So, anyways, wow. This was unexpected and a great way to appeal to our photo audience, because all I can do is blabber on about video.
No, and
So.
and I think what's key is that all of our team members here at Lensprotogo, we all work in the industry, so certainly from that perspective, you have questions, and when you're considering a new system and you're working through, what's the best camera for you, and what you do professionally, certainly we welcome those phone calls all the time, and don't hesitate to give us a ring, and any one of our customer service reps here will spend the time with you to really get you what you're looking for. Okay.
That's right. That's
Awesome.
the Lensprotogo promise.
Rob, baby. Woo!
Rob Hare.
Happy
Thank
New Year,
you.
everybody.
All right. Yes, and also Happy New Year to you, Rob. You had a great year, and you're bound to have another one in 2022. That was unexpected, but awesome, because I was really hoping that we could appeal to our photo-centric viewers right there.
Older generation.
And possibly our older generation of shooters right there. Well, I mean, I'm sure a lot of people are watching this YouTube channel and say, what does that 16-year-old kid have anything to do about anything about photos or video gear and all that stuff? So anyways, while he was yammering on, I wasn't paying attention to any single thing he said, because I was looking at this.
No, I'm just kidding. Rob is a bountiful resource of information, and if anybody talked to him about photography for 10 minutes, you will have learned a ton. So, Rob here, everybody. But anyways, what are we on? Are we on my little camera here? Panasonic BGH1 box camera. So this is literally the GH5 II gets released, and then they roll this thing out only probably like right around the same time. This is going to be the box version basically of that GH5 II. It does essentially every single thing that does recording formats wise, but this is going to be in that nice friendly boxy figure that some people are going for these days. So very friendly to put onto a gimbal. You're obviously going to need to build off this like crazy, but you are putting on a multicam. Can I get a switch? You're putting on a multicam live show just like this one, and then you want an overhead camera. You want them all over the place. It's just like that super, super minimal camera right there. You got your HDMI and SDI out because you're probably going to just shoot this source to another place, and then it's also got time code and gen lock, all these great things for getting a control to the network and Wi-Fi and everything. And it's just fun. Like, look at cameras like in the grand scheme of things. Like we're in 2021. Look at these cameras now. What the heck is even happening? They're just tiny little boxes, little sensor housing boxes for, yeah. And then you just put a lens on. Like,
I think, dare I say it,
what the heck?
takeaway
What's happening?
from 2021 is how small everything has gotten. I
Yeah.
know that's every year, but I feel like especially this
No, it's completely true. And then it also begs the question, like, how small is too small? Like, something has got to be, for example, like you were talking about that Fuji X10. I loved that thing. I loved every single thing it could do, but I literally felt like it was like this, like when I was shooting on it. Like, this was my hands around the S10. And I know people have even larger hands than I do, and they complain about that with like the 5D, which I think is a perfect size body for a photo camera. But I see some like big like Italian dudes with the sausage finger hands, and they're like, oh yeah, I'm accidentally pressing buttons like on my camera all the time. And so, not necessarily a problem that I have, but things getting too small, like, that's real. That's a real problem right there. What did you have in mind with things getting smaller, like these tiny little cyber shots or the
it's not necessarily
RX100s?
We're getting that new tech, but in much smaller packages. So we see like the FX3,
Yeah.
how small that's gotten, but also we see the Fuji GFX 100 push into the GFX 100S.
Yeah,
which is that
right.
smaller body, and we could go on for days. I'm telling you.
Yeah, right. Oh my goodness, I know. So, yeah, I guess I could like we could zoom around on some of those images that I took with the Hasselblad and the GFX 100S, some of those portraits, but I like the fireworks. We'll keep the fireworks raging. So we can transition into the media part of this, the type of media that we consumed this year. I think we got into a pretty well-steeped gear conversation there. Are there any comments in the chat that I'm missing out on? Anyone feeling neglected in the comment section? I can give them a little shout out or not. Well, we could talk about movies and TV shows, right?
Make yourself known.
Yeah. So, anyways, the year of the box camera, yeah. Oh, yep, static motion comments or on a Cine lifter drone, definitely, yes. So, all right, let's talk about movies. I posted a couple polls in the community tab on our YouTube channel. A couple of them are really only posted like right before this, so I'm not expecting them to have heaps of responses, but let's check out what all of you had to say. Let's go over, We've been going for 45 minutes. It seems like 10. Okay.
We're rolling, baby.
Yeah, we are rolling. All right. 26 votes on what was your favorite camera release of 2021. Now, YouTube only allows me 5 options here, so I did have to parse out some options. So if you didn't see the selection that you were hoping to see in this poll, I'm sorry. But the answers in descending order were Lumix GH5 II. Where's that bad boy? Bam. Coming in 5th, Lumix GH5 II. Coming in a tie for 4th is the A1 and A7R IV. Bam. All of you agree that that was your 4th favorite camera release of the year. The 3rd in the poll being the GFX 100S, which I wish we had right now. It's such a heavily rented item that we can hardly keep it on the shelves. And 5th, the thing that your favorite release of 2021 that you said was the Red V Raptor, which is so awesome and so epic and so favorite and exclusive that I have literally not even got my hands on it like yet. I did attend Red's sort of like virtual seminar on how to service the V Raptor or whatever, which was a hoot. But no, I haven't got my hands on it yet. But I can tell you that I've had a lot of fun with the Komodo in 2021, and I know that when we get that V Raptor, it's going to be a fun day. So, yeah, all right, moving on. Okay, cool. Now, I have my local TV expert, in-house television show expert, Alec, with me right here, who basically all day, every day, watches TV shows from start to finish and comments on them and has watched a ton of these shows. Now, I'm actually kind of picking on Alec right now because he doesn't watch TV, and honestly, neither do I. Like, this was me creating this poll.
Cut the stream right now.
This was me, like, making this poll. What were the most popular TV shows of 2021? So if you didn't see your option here, I'm sorry. But, so with a couple of whopping 0 votes were Succession and Reservation Dogs. 2 shows that I didn't necessarily see, but I'm sure they're really great. And then tie for 2nd was Midnight Mass and Only Murderers Left in the Building. Only Murderers Left in the Building is something I want to see. That's Dean Martin, Martin Short, and no, not what's his name? Anyways, yeah, that looks really funny. And Selena Gomez, Steve Martin, not Dean Martin. Steve Martin, Martin Short, Selena Gomez in this sort of like, it almost looks noirish, like a murder mystery type thing, and I'm pretty sure that's going on Hulu, so that's cool. So 2nd is a tie between Only Murders Left in the Building and Midnight Mass, which I know my friend Mike is in the comments right now. He's been telling me about Midnight Mass. That could be really, really good. But your favorite TV show, voted on by all 11 of you before this, was Ted Lasso, which I also haven't watched, but I gathered that it's about a former football coach who has to lead a soccer team in Europe, or it's in the States.
I think it's Europe.
Yeah, he's an American football coach that's in
a crack research team.
Yeah, well, anyways, yeah, crack research team over here. So anyways, yeah, those could be a couple of good TV shows to get into if you haven't already. They're doing a lot of interesting camera stuff in Ted Lasso too. If you didn't know that, they're actually getting pretty funky and cinematic with some of those, even though it's just like a pretty straight up show from what I hear. And the last poll I posted was about movies. I said, how about the best movie to come out of 2021? And obviously I had to cut a lot of the fat from here. Like, for example, I really wanted to put up Pig with Nicolas Cage in this one, but I don't know how much exposure that movie got. So here's the list of movies. It went Dune, No Time to Die, Tick Tick Boom, The Last Duel, and Last Night in Soho. So with a whopping 0 votes was Tick Tick Boom, Andrew Garfield's sort of one-man show, struggling with turning 30 type movie. Apparently you guys didn't like that. And then in a tie for third is No Time to Die and The Last Duel. I did get a chance to see No Time to Die. The Last Duel is still something I want to watch. And coming in second was Last Night in Soho, which I heard was really, really entertaining. I want to see it. And of course, how could anybody pick any other movie for the #1 spot other than Dune 2021, Denis Villeneuve, Timothée Chalamet, Zendaya, and a whole bunch of other amazing cast members. It was just fantastic. And they did a really cool thing on that set where they did that sand wall, or the sand screen rather, where you've heard of green screen and blue screen, where you drop this massive screen of color behind your real life set pieces and subjects, and then you key out that thing later and then drop back a video source in the background. That's chroma keying. What they did for Dune was basically, these cameras are so amazing now and they have so much color depth that they could, before you had to get like a blue screen or a green screen that was like a very distinctly different color than all the stuff that was in the foreground. Now they're just dropping like an amber colored screen for that set behind all of that, and that's going to give them the ambient color reflection of like that red sand, like the spice and the sand of the dunes of Arrakis. That's going to be able to actually reflect and give them the light play from the lights that they obviously have on set that are supplementing the daylight and stuff. And so that way they're able to get that ambient light and still chroma out the stuff in the background to get those crazy alien worlds and spaceships flying by and stuff. Basically, you're like, why would they do that? Well, in a blue screen or a green screen, you're actually fighting off that reflective spill coming off of that massive wall. So you've set up a 40-foot tall green screen that's being lit either by direct sunlight or these hugely bright cinema lights, and you're lighting those so the chroma keying works, but then also that spill is coming off, and you can't get too close to that. So like, I think maybe in some of the very first green screen movies, they probably did a really meticulous job to like correct for this. Or maybe a movie that didn't have such a large production, but you could even maybe see a little bit of that green spill like on the character's shoulder or something, like, or like just on their face or whatever. And that's because they were in a green screen production and that wall was being lit so intensely that it's actually spilling off and catching them right there. And that's something that's really hard to do something about in the color correction / VFX process. So what they're able to do with Dune is drop like this sand colored wall, still chroma key it out. Like the cameras have so much color information that they're able to parse out the difference between like dark red and regular old like sandy red. Like type thing. It's pretty amazing. So yeah, all right. We got, and then of course, like it's 2.5 hours of beautiful Timothée Chalamet and Zendaya action. Although, spoiler alert, if you are going into the movie thinking that it's going to be this big love fest between Timothée Chalamet and Zendaya, like just wait for #2. Okay. Man. Okay. Wow. So I hope everyone had a great time. This is going to be the start of the end of this live stream. We're not necessarily cutting the cord right now, though. We have a couple more festivities that we're gonna do. So basically, yeah, that's gonna start it off. I'm eyeing my lunch over there, which I got to like half eat. So I'm pretty much looking forward to the end of this live stream so I can go and eat my spicy chicken. But there's one first thing that we got to do before we end this off. Alec was nice enough to get us a little refreshment to end off the year. Did you switch to these? And well, yeah, this is a lovely non-alcoholic sparkling cider that Alec procured for us. I wish we weren't in the middle of like the 15th surge of coronavirus right now, and we could have all of our co-workers to hang out with us and have a little splash of bubbly to celebrate the new year. But anyways,
great year.
Yeah, great year. If the DP review guys can get hammered on their stream, I can drink sparkling apple cider. You know, so that's fine. We love the guys at DP Review. You guys are awesome. So, all right. This
Twist off?
well, I would be a little bit disappointed if it was a twist off. Should we shake it up first? No, we shouldn't at all. We have all this gear around here.
Do you need a
Actually,
bottle opener? Your trusty PA can get one.
your trusty PA, yeah. You might need to dive in there to go do that. Let me get all this expensive camera gear out of the way before we whoosh, shower everything in champagne. And by champagne, I just mean sparkling cider. This is a family channel. So, yeah, let's do a little cleanup over here. Please, now is the time to drop those gear questions that have been looming over your head in 2021. Drop them in the chat right now. Let me know. We can talk about them within these waning minutes of this stream, or you could just come hang out. All right.
Your trusty PA.
All right, let's see what happens. Okay, it didn't explode. Oh, I spoke too soon. That was delayed. That was like open. Oh yeah, no, that was the perfect amount. That was the perfect amount of spillage. Oh, it smells good. It literally smells like apple juice, and that's a good thing. Okay, cool. Let's pour it up. Wow, 2021. What happened? It was just pandemic round 2 and 3. But of course, other great things happened in this year. It wasn't just totally plagued by the pandemic. So, all right. Wow, things are getting wet and wild over here. All right. Man, we are partying like it's 2022 already.
Cheers for...
Yeah, for the New Year's. Great. Woo! Happy New Year's, everybody, even though that's happening tomorrow at midnight. Alrighty.
Oh, we got one good recommendation in the chat.
Oh, we do. Recommend like a TV show?
You're the host.
Well, oh, okay, awesome. What is your recommendation for a small form factor mirrorless camera that isn't going to blow my budget? Any Sony 6000 camera. The literal 6000, you could probably get a used one of those for like only a couple $100. I get this question a lot. Yeah, I know. It's like, it's not bad. Yeah. It's literally like apple juice. It's great. Go on eBay, or no, actually don't go on eBay. Go on Lens Authority. I mean, you can get decent refurbed on eBay, but there are great websites that are dedicated to this sort of thing, like Lens Authority, our partner website. I feel like I should put that. Or lensrentals.com, which just launched their Keeper program. So now, just like us, you can rent the photo or video gear that you want, but on Lens Rentals' website, you're going to be able to decide if you want to keep that gear, to buy it. I don't think it's actually that gear that you got on your rental. Like, you'll still have to return it, and then they'll send you a piece of that refurbed gear, but it's always in excellent condition. I've heard from a couple people coming in that say that the gear they got from Lens Authority was really top notch. So a used or refurbished anything in the Sony a6000 line, Sony 6100, 6200, 3, 4, 5, or 6, except you're not really going to find many used 6500s or 6600s. So used Sony a6300, would be an excellent choice for you, Austin. Thank you for all the Happy New Year's wishes. We got some champagne emotes. Absolutely loving those. Yes, that is awesome. I don't know if you caught it, but when Rob was here earlier, he was doing his classic, I don't know if you saw that. And I just was doing a little bit of that too in the wet sort of ocean of stuff we have here. So yeah, cool. Man, here we are, hanging out. This is the hangout part of it. I feel like before that, oh, thank you very much. I have such a great production team here. Production team of 1, 2 if you count me. Wow, here we go. 2021. What are your goals for the new year?
Turn off my alarm.
Oh yeah, mine's to shoot a feature film. Wow, I made it into the trash barrel from over here. I just want to put that out there. It's like 10 feet away. Goals. Shoot a short. Shoot a feature. I want to achieve a shot. I'm just trampled all over your answer right there. I want to achieve a shot where the camera's rolling and then the lens comes off. Maybe do some crazy like light play, shaping the light into the open gate sensor of the camera, and then put another lens on there and finish the shot with like a different focal length. And also like write a story where that sort of shot is motivated and not totally just done for the sake of doing that, you know, type thing. But mid-shot lens change, 2022. It'll be called the Boisvert effect. So there you go. That's my goal. Become famous for a really stupid, impractical camera move. How about you?
Thinking about releasing a book this year.
Oh, awesome. Yes, that's much more practical and not a joke. So go on about that.
Yeah, just trying to figure it out. Currently in the pre-alpha stages of that, but we're kind of gonna finalize some ideas, some thoughts, and should have a cool physical release for 2021. Or, sorry, 2022, which I'm looking forward to when it comes to art.
Awesome. Here's one thing I wanted to mention. Actually, everybody should be on the lookout for a book that's coming out. I don't know how... Yeah, see, it's not even out. It's actually kind of hard to even search for, but everybody should be on the lookout for what is basically going to be the Bible of Cine lenses. It's going to be called the Cine Lens Manual by Chris Probst and Jay Holben, two absolute goats in the cinematography / video filmmaking gear / lens world. So this is the Facebook page for it, and this should be coming out in early 2022. I don't know how much it's going to cost, how many pages are going to be in it, but it's basically going to be like an encyclopedia / dictionary, history book, everything on every Cine lens out there, basically. It's been in the works for like a number of years, like probably over 5. I think I've seen them in their Instagram posts say like something like 7 years in the making or something like that. And we actually just had a former representative in from Ingenue who said that he helped them write their chapter on Ingenue lenses, which was like amazing. So that's a really, really good educational resource to look out for in 2022. I feel like they're being kind of like cryptic about it. Steve Martin, I know, yes, thank you. Oh yeah, I think I said Dean Martin earlier, Steve Martin, shows you how much I know. Yeah, so anyways, Cine Lens Manual is going to be really, really amazing. And then, yeah, any other photo books you're looking forward to? I know those two, that couple over there at Sea Legacy, Christina Mittermeier and Paul Novak, are doing some of the most amazing Antarctic nature work like I've ever seen, and they all shoot on Nikon Z6 and 7. I wonder if they'll be getting the 9s.
I've been told to get closer to the mic.
Yes.
But hang on.
Here we go.
Yeah.
Yeah. You could have a sit. How about a sit?
How do I say? Just wrap it up here.
Yeah. Yeah. Just wrap it up.
Jimmy Chin, the man.
Oh,
man,
yes.
His book, which is, from what I've heard, I haven't gotten my hands on it yet. But maybe we can do one of these actions here.
Oh yes, the Jimmy Chin climbing book, right? So this is the guy that shot Free Solo.
Yeah. He released his book, and it apparently is filled with some world-class photography from some of the craziest athletes the world has ever seen. Those people who the director of Free Solo, if you haven't seen it, highly recommend. But yeah, that's one that I'm looking forward to at least get my hands on. I know it's already out. But apart from, your run-of-the-mill famous photographer, go buy a book from somebody who's small. This is, I think, the year where we have so much access to all different types of photography, whether it's through the internet or through some sort of physical medium. And if you can just
buy. I mean, you can just go and buy anybody's book online now. There's so many ways to do that. So expand your repertoire. Have a few books, have a few zines in your collection, or even when it comes to video, go get, you can go on Prime Video right now and search hundreds of short films that people have made, even the features that people have made, and just see what's out there. Because not only is it great to support people who are on the same level as you, but also people who are trying to reach their goal of eventually maybe getting that limelight or that spotlight.
If you want that support, if you've ever wanted that support for a project that you're getting off the ground, you know how just like great it can feel to get that support like from somebody else.
Absolutely.
And there's all these amazingly huge productions that are going on that everybody's watching and stuff, and that's fine. Like, I loved Dune, like it was incredible.
Yeah.
But also this year I tried to watch what my peers were doing and stuff too.
Of course.
Over the pandemic, like how I saw so many people, that was the deciding factor for them to make their photo zine or to make their collection of photographs and stuff. So yeah, that was, I got at least 2 from my friends over post-pandemic.
Yeah. So
sort of thing.
yeah, 2021 this is why I don't have me on camera. 2022 is looking to be a great year for the independent artists. So
I don't even know the months.
keep
order.
keep your eye out for the good stuff, because it's definitely out there. No.
Yeah.
Get me out of here.
Yeah, get him out of here. That was Alec. He's been running our show today, and that is probably gonna be the end of it. Thank you so much, everybody, for sticking around. Woo! Round of applause for everybody. This is for you. This is for everybody this year and all the hard work you've done, everything you achieved and didn't achieve. Bring it in for everything that you didn't achieve this year. That's something to be celebrated too. Maybe that would have sent you off on a wrong path. Whatever that thing is that you didn't achieve, maybe that was for the better. So anyways, this year, don't do anything because it might set you off. I'm just kidding. Achieve all your goals and aspirations. Don't let anybody tell you that an aspiration of yours isn't worth doing. Yeah, don't let your memes be dreams. Absolutely. Couldn't have put it better myself. So yeah, 2021, thank you so much. Alec is going to fade to black, and I'm going to slip away into the darkness of the new year.
You got it in the live stream.
Oh God! Oh God! In the live stream! Somebody in the live stream! Somebody in the live stream! Oh no! All right, bye. Happy New Year. That was awesome.
Is it?
That was fun.
That was fun.
That was legitimately fun.